Oof. Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing? How you doing? I don't know. Whoa, wait a minute. That is morning spider webs in the garden. Sun. I think the sun has come up. It must be coming up a little bit later. 6-ish. I can see, or you can see what I see. Boom. So the sun might be behind the moisture. A little bit ago it was the whole thing was just fire red, you know, at like 5:30 or whatever. Pretty cool. Birds are doing their thing. Can you see them? I think they're flying around looking for bugs, probably. The dance of the swallows. I don't know what they are. They're pretty cool looking though. Anyway, morning coffee on the farm. I think it's been about a week since I made a video. What is that? I should bring that chair over here. See if the sun's gonna come up. Well, it's that time of year too. You know, 'tis the season to be freezing. Hopefully I don't drop my coffee. See if I can do this right. Boom. There you go. Oh my God. Yeah, well, my ears are freezing, by the way. I don't know if you can see that, but you can probably see it. Yeah. And my feet are pretty cold too. This morning, I got out of bed, you know, put my feet down on that lacquered wood floor. Oh my God. I had to hop around looking for my slippers. It was that cold. I don't know how cold it is right now. It's probably, I'm gonna guess. Oh, wait a minute. I think I have a temperature device. Just happen to have it. If it tells that temperature. Yeah, 19. Or 67. 67. That's pretty cold, man. Where I come from. It's pretty cold for here. I'm using my TDS water tester. TDS for total dissolved solids. That helps you measure your ppm, which is your parts per million. And if you've been watching this channel, then you'll know that more recently, I got the water cycle going, which is, I put that new big 2,000 gallon tank, then I put the new fiber water filter tank with the 5 layers of stuff in there. And initially it looked fine. Actually, I mean, it is fine, but I had to make some adjustments. So if you were watching my earlier video, and I think Kenny, you're one of them, I have to make some adjustments to get the purity that I wanted. You know, the goal was to not make this big old elaborate system. I didn't want to have like 10 steel tanks and have an RO system, which is another acronym, right, for reverse osmosis. With a reverse osmosis system, you can straight up drink that water. Hell, you could bottle it and sell it to other people. What's up, cat? But yeah, so I kept doing the glass test, which is where I put the water in the glass and let it sit out overnight, or maybe even the whole next day, to see what happens. And I know from reading so much the last few days and asking questions and stuff that when the water turns cloudy and starts to the dissolved solids start to appear because they start to like connect to each other or whatever, and then I could tell that the water's not as clear as I wanted it, or I don't want to use it like that. And so I also ordered this TDS meter along with another one, looks just like it, but it's for pH, because after looking at all the research and videos and everything too, it can range from 0 to hero or whatever. In this case, not hero, but like most everything says if it's 1,000 parts per minute, you don't even want to wash with that stuff. It's wicked, not good for you. And but that generally, if you're below 500, it's it's tolerable to whatever wash with and stuff like that. But if you're, or I'm sorry, yeah, well, but I don't know, yeah. If you're like 150 to 300, or maybe it's 3 to 500, 250. Yeah, maybe, yeah, if you're, yeah, anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I do know that if you're less than 500, that's, I think it is. If it's less than 500, it's tap water like that. So you can pretty much, with your tap water, you can pretty much filter it out with a single point of use filter, or you boil it and use it or whatever. And actually drinking water, I think, yeah, you can drink it from like 150 up to 300. That's drinkable water. And when you get below 150, or when you get actually below 50 or something, this is probably the reverse osmosis systems where they've taken out all the minerals and everything. I mean, normally water, tap water at your house and all that stuff, it's got minerals in it. It's got stuff in it from the countless systems it's gone through and everything like that. And so yeah, I did what I did was when I got my tester, I tested. I took out the bottle of water, like when you buy. Well, you get it free from when you get gas here. So I tested the water, and it was 35. So it's 35 parts per million, which tells me that there might have been a couple of whatever calcium in there or something, I don't know, but barely nothing. It's clean. And then and oddly enough, that tank, if you watch, I have a single tank that sits in back of my shop. It's been sitting there. That water tank's been sitting there for a good 17 years, or no, wait a minute now, that was, well, yeah, probably 17 years or 15 years. And it's got taps at the bottom, right? And I usually use that water. It fills in from the top, straight from the well. And then I usually use that to like wash my paintbrushes or whatever, or tools or whatever I'm doing. And occasionally I have had to drink it because I'm like, oh, I'm thirsty, and it looks pretty damn clean to me. And I had it set out before on the glass test, and didn't have any issues really. And so anyway, so I tested that, and it was like 200. So yeah, or 210 or something like that. And that's totally drinkable. So I was like, oh, sweet. And so then I tested my blue tank, which is the tank that we deposit the water in from my filter system, the cement one that I made with the rings. So the well water goes into those rings, gets filtered through all my stuff, the rocks and the sand and the charcoal, and then comes into the tank. And so I tested that, and that was like 245. So again, all the charts, and I'll put some of the charts up here. All of the charts I was looking at and everything, 245 in there, 300 in there, it fell into either drinking water or tap water. And as you probably know, at least in America, there are plenty of places where tap water is drinkable. Actually, where I lived in the desert, it was. Our city had one of a few cities that had like the best tap water in the fucking nation or something. Excuse my language, but yeah, I'm serious, because it was all hot springs down there, Palm Springs and all that. That whole Coachella Valley, Desert Hot Springs, Coachella, Palm Desert, all those places have hot springs below, right? All this, and just the nature of the water being filtered or whatever before it gets to us. Crazy. Anyway, although we probably get most of the water, if I remember now, there's a pipe that runs from the desert all the way down to the Colorado River, if you can believe that, and it comes up over the mountains, pumped up over those big. You might be driving on the freeway, like when you go out to Northern California, you're starting to drive out to Valencia, and you see like, this set of maybe 8 giant pipes that come up and go over the mountain, come down and stuff. That's water coming through from north. But anyway, this pipe is from the Colorado River and comes this way. But anyway, the water was testing at the blue tank, at about 245. And I was like, hey man, I thought so, because I think I've always said, man, this is drinkable. I know I did my tests and stuff, and it was drinkable. And I drink it. I've drank it before. We do buy bottled water, and I drink bottled water. But I drink that on any day of the week, man. And but then when I put all this piping together, my wife was pretty insistent on using all the old pipe. Don't buy new one. So I had used all this old irrigation pipe and flushed it out along. It's been 2 years now, but anyway, I can't help but feel there's still shit in there. And by shit I mean iron and stuff. So I tested it at the tap. I poured a glass for the tap, and I tested it, and it tested at 265. Which is still, that's still fine. You can still drink that if you have to, or if you want to, I should say. Because, and the reason it's, 265 or 245 or whatever, instead of 35 like drinking water, you can't compare the two for drinking, because bottled water has had every mineral taken out of it. The water that's coming out of the tap now from the blue tank still has all of its minerals in it. That's why it actually tastes a little better. Most times, but it tastes better because it has the it has minerals in it. Some bottled water, this one had 35, so it might have a little bit of taste, but a lot of water is just flat water. Doesn't taste nothing. Matter of fact, I think you can order flat water, right? Can I get a flat water? Which is void of all minerals. So yeah, the minerals that are in the water are what give it the taste. And so yeah, 265 coming out of the tap, and the same here. I think upstairs I tested it. I think it was the same, 245 or something, right in there. Same thing. I was, oh, cool. So now comes the big tank, and so I was like, you know, what I also realized when I was setting up the big tank was that you have to, or you know, my well pump was pumping straight into the filter tank, and then the filter tank into my big tank to give it clean water to, you know, pump out. And that was the water. It was not as clean as I wanted it to be, and so and I realized that while the pump is pushing through there too fast, it's you know, it's centrifugal pump up to 120 liters per minute, and the tank, as I did all the math and looked at everything, it should be pushing about, oh my God, my arm hurts. It should be pushing about 16 liters per minute. And I'm like, whoa, 16 versus, you know, up to 120. Yeah, probably not a good idea. So I tried to reduce the flow by just turning the valve, you know, like less water. And that helped a lot. But I couldn't get it down to 13 or whatever. Or 16 or whatever. It probably wasn't something I could do. So what I decided to do was put the filter tank on the other side of, not move it, but I mean route the water so that the well water goes into the tank, and then the water coming out of the well tank, or the water coming out of the tank will go into the filter. Because, and we're talking to the lady again at the water place. She was saying that, well, you know, and I always do this anyway, you can put the tank on either side. You know, I even put it up on I put that question up on the construction Thailand Facebook group, and again, half the people would say, well, the tanks are designed to push, so you need to put it before you put it into the, you know, before the tank, before the big tank. The other half would say you put it after the tank, and then some guys would post their pictures, mine's after, mine's before. And that was the question, is I wasn't getting an answer as to, you know, what was the real. I mean, I could see it in my head, but you know, I was looking for kind of an answer. And anyway, the lady at the water tank place said that, well, technically, if you're going from well to tank to, you know, if you go from well to filter to tank, you'll get probably 50-60% on the filtering. And if you're going from well to tank to filter, you're going to go up to 80-85% on the filtering. And then you can mitigate the rest of the filter with other filters or whatever you want to do or something like that. If your water is, you know, high parts per million. And so fortunately, when I put it together, I have all those quick release valves in the system, so I was able to disconnect and then reconnect so that the well goes straight into the tank, fills that 2,000 liters up with well water, which I was like, because it'll turn the tank, you know, orange, right? Discolor the tank. So I filled that up and then fed it back through the filter, you know, rinsed it again and backwashed it again and all that, and the water got significantly better, you know, but it still wasn't where I wanted it. And I was like, man. So I went back to the water place and looked at systems and looked at what was going on. And then I realized, well, she actually tested the water with this, and that's kind of that's why I ordered one of these, and because I wanted to do it myself and see what was going on. So I saw that what I could do was with the big tank, I could add. She had these bags, a 1 kilo baggie looked like a kilo of cocaine, you know, in powder form, but whatever, crystalline. And so it's what's it called in Thai? It's some song or something. I forget in Thai, but it's aluminum sulfate or something. I'll have to look. Maybe I can find out. I forget already. Too early. But anyway, it's harmless. You put that chemical, dump that stuff in the water. Although I actually put it in a piece of cheesecloth and I held it in front of the water coming out into the tank, so it dissolved and pushed all it mixed, and then I mixed it all up. You know, I used a piece of PVC and I mixed the water. This was just for the first time to test, and then I mix it all up, and then you're supposed to let it set for I don't know, probably 3 hours, I think she said. Let it sit. So what that does is that gathers the parts per million and makes them heavier, and then they fall to the bottom of your tank. That's why you have the flush valve on the very bottom of the tank. So so that's why I have the flush valve on the bottom of the tank. But one of the other things that I had to do, and I kind of saw this a long time ago, but when I went to the water lady, she showed me again. I was like, oh, that's right, that's why they do that. So inside the tank, where the big 2-inch comes out to, you know, take your water out, not the flush valve, but the 2-inch, inside you need to put another 2-inch PVC on the inside one and have it come and then have it go up. And I have it, so I piped it so it goes up about, you know, I guess you could probably only do, mine's about a foot or foot and a half straight up into the kind of middle of the tank. In this way, when you mix all those, when you mix your water so that it captures the dissolved solids and they fall to the bottom, they won't, you know, fall to the bottom and then get sucked out of that pipe into your water system, right? You want them below that pipe. That way they can actually flush out from the flush out valve, but they're not in your water, in your main body of water any longer. So I thought, well, whatever's left in there, I'll mix all this stuff up. And then I think I let it set for, we went out and about, so it was about 5 hours, 6 hours, came back, poured another glass, you know, flushed out the filter a little bit, then poured another glass, and then that was even more clear. And I thought, oh, now I got something here. And so but that was like the first thing, right? So then I let it sit, and then the next morning, after having, you know, sit all night or whatever, I went back over there and I poured another glass and let it sit, and it was even more clear. And so I had it sitting next to a glass from the blue tank, which is the water we currently have been using. And I almost kind of, as I would come back and look, a couple times I forgot which glass was which, because it, you know, it was like that. So anyway, so yesterday, and supposedly, or what I suppose is my final act, after I got my water tester, I went and I tested my new 2,000 liter tank water coming out of the filter, and it tested at 299, or I tested like 4 or 5 times, between 299 and 305. And at that rate, that water is perfectly fine tap water and actually drinkable. It's got a higher content of minerals than my blue tank at 245 or 265, but not a huge amount. And you know, if I'm right when I'm looking at all those charts, it's pretty good water. Certainly good enough to run your whole house. And I'll bet you 1,000 times I'm gonna keep this in my truck, at least during the cold season. It probably doesn't work very good if it's in super hot and it might get melted, but anyway, because I'll keep this in my truck, and then I'll go back over to the mom's house and I'll test the tap water coming out of there from the city, which is the water that, you know, everybody in the village will use to bathe, and hell, people probably use that. They probably boil that and cook with that. So yeah, so now I think I'm ready. And when I say ready, I think I'm ready to make the move of connecting my 2,000 water tank, you know, to the house, and disconnecting my cement ring so I can start the demolition program. Much to my wife's dismay, probably. I tried to explain this to her in simpler terms, like, hey man, this is, our water's 240 or whatever, our water's 245 to 265, and the new water's 300, you know. Bad water's 1,000. You don't want to use water over 500. We're okay. And thereby, you know, disconnecting the system, and still have her confident that, you know, water's good and she can use it for what she's been using it for, although she doesn't drink it like I do. She drinks bottled water, so I don't know what she's worried about. And yes, but instead of removing the blue tank now, anyway, I think, actually, you know what, I think I do need to remove the blue tank, because it's up against the wall of the shop that I'm gonna, you know, make a new cement wall, and I need that area. Because I was gonna just take that outlet pipe from the filter of the big tank and put it into the blue tank, because the blue tank's already connected by the pump to the house. So really all I need to do is fill the blue tank with the big tank water. And that's, the blue tank's like a 500 gallon or 500 liter, and I have 2,000, and I also have the 1,000 liter over there. So what I planned on doing was, I don't know how much room is in here, but I'd like to suck all the 500 gallon water out into there, fill it all up so that 1,000 is full. Then I can empty the rest of the blue one or whatever and move it. But I can hook the 2,000 liter tank directly to the pump and then into the house. Initially, I was just thinking that all I need to do is just dump it into the blue tank, you know, have it piped into the blue tank, and then let the system run, which is fine. But or maybe I can do that. I'll leave that for now, because I can work on the demolition and work on the other wall and save that wall for the last thing. But anyway, yeah, so I think I sorted it out. That water now with a single tank, and then with the other mineral that I add to the water that, you know, makes the solids come together. Maybe one of you guys know the name of it, I don't know. That'll be fine. This morning I'll go over there and I'm gonna try and use the flush valve, see if there's, you know, there should be some stuff coming out of there. But obviously I don't want to have to jump up there and mix water every time I fill that tank or something. So there are systems, and that's probably the one thing I'll have to buy. You know, it's about the size of that white trash can that I bought. So you have about a 10 gallon, yeah, maybe 10 gallon, not liter, I'm thinking in gallons, 10 or 15 gallon bucket that you have pre-mixed with that solution, or it's already comes in the liquid form or something, I don't know. And then it has a tiny little pump attachment to it that drip that automatically disperses that chemical into the water, so that the dissolved solids collect and fall to the bottom of your tank. So then the only real maintenance that you will be doing, the whole system will be automated, and the only thing you'll need to do is just, you know, periodically flush the bottom of the tank so you can flush out those dissolved solids so they don't totally build up in there. Yeah, sounds pretty good. That was my whole water history here this morning while I'm having my coffee. I think the sun's up now. Is it? Oh my God, it is. As a matter of fact, I should go this way. One of the things when I got up early, this whole sun, the whole horizon out there was just fire red all the way across, before the sun comes up. Awesome to look at, but it was even more freezing. What I did was, or what I wanted to do, cobwebs, what I wanted to do was get a time lapse of the sun coming up through that fire red and stuff. Although because it's so cold and the mist is all through the clouds over there, I don't think I could have got that. So I did set up my time lapse with my phone, unless it fell over. I did set up my time lapse, but it's just a regular sunrise, so I don't know how cool it'll look. Or if it even worked. Yeah, I don't know. The Don't let them come in yet. It's gonna come out the bottom. Woo! Wait a minute. Woohoo!
ครั้งเดียวพอแล้วพรุ่งนี้ไว้เป็นพรุ่งนี้
Oh. The fine catch it is this evening on Christmas Day. Ha ha ha. Back at you. Hey, well, hey, that time lapse didn't work out. Battery died right then, so then I just skipped it until this evening. Until, I should say, right now. But continuing on that water, I thought what I'd do is I'd show you this in real time. That this water here, and you can see it's all, it has, you can see it's got the film on top of it, right? And this water comes out here. What I'm gonna do is actually gonna take this glass. It's got some old stained glass paint on it. So I'll set that down, I'll turn this on. 29 degrees outside Celsius. And then stick this in there. And you can see that reads, I don't know if you can see it maybe. Yeah, it reads at like 204, which is way good, you know, good in terms of parts per million, right? That's good, that's better than fair. Do it again, looks like it's 204. Try and do it again. Yeah, it's like 207, 204. So that's excellent. Although this fair enough, this water has a lot of, you know, organic material in it, like leaves and all that stuff, so it might throw off the balance of the actual other suspended particles. This water is my blue tank. It's got some charcoal stuff laying on it. Whoa. What's that? That was I didn't even see my wife. She must have come back here and turned that on right behind me. Anyway, the water from the blue tank coming in at, what's that, 242, wait a minute, 239, $242. So there's a bit of a, you know, it can have a little bit of a discrepancy. There's probably a lot of noise with that going on. But let me, by the way, I did put the whole box together and all that. I let these guys, I don't know if I share with you, but the construction guys over there are building the neighbor's house. I let them come in with their power because they need power. You know, a lot of these Thai houses, when they're building under construction, they might need the neighbor's power to keep the welder going or this or that. No problem. Neighbors. That's it. And yeah, I'll show you that real quick. Whoa. So yeah, they got actually the line is here. This black line here, these two cables go through the trees over here, all the way out there to that, where that little palm trees are, and it goes all the way over there to that construction site. And they got a box over there they put so that you know, I can share the power with them. That way they can get it done. There is power on that street, the street that leads to that place, but if you want the government, you know, local guys to come out and put poles in the road all the way, even temporary poles in the road all the way down there, so that it has power. It's a process, and you know, to get things going, it's easier for them just to come in here and walk over here and connect it. So that's what they did. Anyway, so I got the water coming out of the filter, so it comes from the tank straight to the filter, and it's coming out over here. I got it on the open pipe. Let me see if I can. Oh, and I'll put some in there. And now we'll test this one, and this one comes in. If you can see that, it's at 287. So 287, and what was the other one? 240 something? 287 again. So yeah, this water, you know, definitely below 300. Definitely still in the good, not fair, but good range for drinking water. And so I'm quite happy that the way I set it up is all good. I mean, you know, it'll work. It'll give us good water. And what I here, let me turn that off. Lights, man. Oh. So what I've done is because and I mentioned that, you know, my wife, you know, sketchy about leaving the blue tank. The blue tank's already hooked up to the pump. You know, it's been hooked up. That goes to the house, the blue tank. So what I figured out was if I open this up and I just swing this pipe up, it'll go right into the blue tank water. Now normally I fill it, right? The cement tanks come out and fill this tank through the normal way, and it's a little slower. So this tank and this pump will fill that blue tank way faster. And as soon as they're done with the power over there, I need that breaker. So as soon as they're done with the power over there, I'll be able to hook up the float switch so that it you know, will automatically fill that blue tank. I'm gonna put the float switch in the blue tank, so it'll go down, and then the pump will automatically turn on in this tank and fill that blue tank. Oh, and this is some water out of the kitchen tap that's in the outdoor kitchen. I don't know if you can see this, but where's that coming in? 479. Oh, 479 again. So there you go. It's 479 coming out of the tap, and what was it? 483 coming out of my filter system I set up. So, and the reason that there's probably a difference between the blue tank, because that's where the water's coming from. Blue tank being, what was it? What did I say? 470? No, 279. Right? Shit. But the reason is the difference is because the water has to travel from the blue tank through the PVC lines, right? And over time, those lines, if you know, dirty water went through there, those lines would get plaque built up, much like your artery. And so, yeah, that one actually said 239. But, and so what happens is the plaque kind of, you know, breaks up a little bit or whatever and winds up in the water line. Another reason why I wanted to put new water lines throughout the whole place, but it was my decision. And anyway, so all of that water seems to be on par with each other, the new water and the old water, and coming in less than 300 parts per million is actually great. You can probably see that from the previous chart I put up in there. So hey man, let's go. And then the pump will shut off. And now the matter of refilling this won't have to happen until it gets all the way down there. And you know, an interesting, I was watching or reading on one of the construction sites, one of the, you know, the Facebook group, guy asked, dude, how do I know where my water level is? And everybody's like, well, just pound on it, you know. And whilst I have used that technique, the guy goes, this one guy said, take, you know, just those water bottles, like a Escola water bottle, take 2 of them, fill it half water, tie a rope, put 1/2 water in here, and it'll float. And then as the water recedes, the other half hanging out here will start to pull and start to rise. So when your other half water bottle comes up here, the other one's down there, you'll know that that's where your water level is. Pretty cool. I'm gonna try that one. I like it. So yeah, but then I'll have the well pump automated with another float switch. By the way, I bought one at the Sunday market the other day, but I don't think it works. I tried it today. I'm like, I don't think it's working. But I'll know better when when I get the switch back. So so this will be automatic. It's 2,000 liters. That's 500. So I'm imagining that this will be needed to be refilled once every, I don't know, man, 2-3 weeks maybe. And then because I got 1,000 liters on the other side over there too. So maybe 2-3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, that the pump will go on to refill this. And then the blue pump will will probably go on every week or something. Anyway, that's what that is. And with that being said, Merry Christmas, because today's Christmas. Hope you like that fish catch. We're going to have a big old fish party. And thanks for watching. You keep watching, and I'll get back at you. More holiday stuff.